before I had braces. And I would always smile like this. I would always do a big smile. I don't know how I did it. And so I was like, oh, I love that smile. I want to get back to that smile now that my teeth are straight again. But I had for the past 3 years trained my mouth to only do this. And so I'm I've been practicing my regular smile again. But I can't do it without making my sternocleidomastoid just poke straight out.
That is a feature of a big smile.
So I'm trying to practice how to get my regular smile back without making my neck look like I work out too much or something. Hi everyone, welcome back.
Hello.
Welcome back. I just talked into this, but there's nothing to hear.
True. Yes. If you're watching live and you're on the Patreon feed, click over to the YouTube feed so you can chat with us in the comments while we record. We like to read them after we're done. And if you're reading this later, leave us a comment down below.
Down below. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Comment and like. Ari watches so much YouTube that we've just memorized that last thing that they always say. And she was saying that when she was 4. She'd be comment and subscribe. Make sure to like this video. That's just how
you end a video.
That's how you end a conversation as far as Ari's concerned. Oh, this chapter is called New.
It's exciting.
It's Buzzy again. Buzzy. You hear it? It's not these. I guarantee it's not these. I don't know if these are just turned up too loud. Okay. Is it gone?
It's gone.
Okay.
Cool. Oh yeah. Do the thing.
Who's that? Paula. What's up? How you doing? How's your baby?
Still inside.
Hopefully. You gotta keep it inside like Bella.
Yeah.
I think Bella waited too long though. She gave birth to a fully formed 2-month-old.
All teeth in.
Yeah. That's a year old.
I texted the chat though and I was like, who was gonna remind me about this? And everyone's like, isn't that part of the whole thing is they chew their way out the womb? I was like, oh yeah. They have to have teeth. Ew. It's just not great no matter what.
I hate it so much.
Okay. I'm feeling exceptionally spitty today, so this will be fun.
Do you need a water?
I mean, yes, but I don't have one, so it's fine.
Okay. Cool.
I laughed in a short burst of humor. Part of me listened in wonder to the pealing bell sound, as his words reminded me of cloudy human conversations. And then I took a whole second to run quickly through those first days with Edward, the true beginning of my life, in my head so that I would never forget them. I did not expect that it would be so uncomfortable to remember, like trying to squint through muddy water. I knew from Rosalie's experience that if I thought of my human memories enough, I would not lose them over time. I did not want to forget 1 minute I'd spent with Edward, even now, when eternity stretched in front of us. I would have to make sure those human memories were cemented into my infallible vampire mind. Shall we? Edward asked. He reached up to take the hand that was still at my neck. His fingers smoothed down the column of my throat. I don't want you to be hurting, he added in a low murmur, something I would not have been able to hear before. I'm fine, I said, out of lingering human habit. Wait, first. There was so much. I never got into my questions. There were more important things than this ache. It was Carlisle who spoke now. Yes? I want to see her, Renesmee.
I just thought I have to get my pencil because I thought of a question I had about Rosalie, but I will ask it in the Epi. I love that Bella, out of habit, is like, I'm not hungry.
Some things never change.
Okay, that's my Q. This is my A. Just kidding. Sorry. How do we start? Okay, we don't have any patrons because I didn't write any down. You don't have any updates because we did them last time. I think we'll just start. One. I'm a little spitty too, but it's my chopstick, I think. Oh. Nursing baby girl. Wait a minute. Did she have her baby?
Did you have your baby already? Are we behind the times? Did we know this?
Did
Are we
not
dumb?
send you a onesie?
She says yes.
What?
I am ashamed and embarrassed.
Congratulations!
Happy baby.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Pause the podcast.
I'm also pausing myself.
Okay, so it was not announced on Instagram.
Okay, good.
That's why I'm like, it's fine. We're not that big of idiots.
I haven't shared anything yet. Okay.
Oh, congratulations! Oh my gosh, she was born on the 12th, so she's
Aw.
like a month old almost.
Yeah.
Congratulations! Did she have all teeth when she was born?
Yeah. Did
I
she
hope
bite you?
not. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. I'm so happy for you. Do we know her name? Did you already tell her name that was going to be? What is her name? What does she look like? Send me a picture. I want to know everything. There's nothing on Instagram. I'm so happy for you. Also, if you have any breastfeeding questions, I nursed for
Many a moon.
7.5 years straight every single day of my life.
Thank you. No teeth, just a full head of hair. I'm happy.
Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. Oh my gosh.
She'll send you pics. Her name is Phoebe Camille. That's so cute.
That's cute. I'm so
Very
happy
cute.
for you. Congratulations. That is just like the perfect news for also this episode because
Yes.
I love this chapter so much. All right. Ready?
Yes.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
This is Marin.
This is Emily.
And we are
Remember
Twilight. And on this week's episode of Remember Breaking Dawn, we are covering chapter 20, New.
Mm-hmm.
Nice title, Bella.
Yeah.
Really solid.
Last week was chapter 19, Burning, and that pretty much sums it up.
Oh my gosh. Poor Bella. That was a really good and intense episode.
It is intense.
We talked about a lot of like deep stuff. It felt really heavy.
Yeah.
And now this is the opposite.
This is the laughing episode. Certainly.
Yep. So let's do it. I'm very excited.
So Bella opens her eyes and she can see anything she wants. She looks at the light and she goes, "That is still bright, but I can see everything inside of that light bulb. I can see every color of the rainbow in the light. And in fact, I can see a new 8th color."
Yes. I love that Bella sees this whole new rainbow and it's like glinted off of everything she sees.
Every light she can see a rainbow in.
One of her family members are just like bouncing off a rainbow at her.
Fun.
I want that.
What's this 8th color? Do the vampires have a name for it? Do they just call it the unknown color, the extra bonus color?
We don't talk about the new color.
We don't talk about it. But I want to talk
secret.
about it.
You keep it in your heart. Each person has their own name for it.
It's a very personal thing. Your 8th color.
I love it so much. I cannot.
Yes. So Bella first looks at the light And then she looks at the ceiling and she goes, I can see every grain of wood that makes up that beam in that ceiling.
She's like, I can see the cellulose in that.
I can see the mitochondria.
What a powerhouse.
Mhm.
Boom.
And then in front of the wood, she sees all the dust. And can we just talk about how much Bella loves dust?
It's gorgeous.
It's the most beautiful thing she's ever
I'm
seen.
not going to judge her for that. One time I saw a window painting on a McDonald's and I was like, that's the prettiest thing I've ever seen. And my friends were like, are you in love or something? What's going on? I just appreciate beauty. She appreciates the beauty of the dust.
Yeah, she
Lights.
calls the dust just their own little galaxy swirling around each other in celestial dance. It was so beautiful, in fact, that she inhaled in shock and she
dust.
tasted the dust and she goes, dust, that tastes good.
I dare anybody to argue with us about how awesome Vampire Bella is. My cheeks already hurt from her.
Then she goes, breathing. That feels different. I don't need to breathe anymore.
But
It doesn't do anything.
I like it.
But it makes me taste the dust. The lovely dust motes. She's going to be absorbing those for a long time. She takes in a nice new whiff of air. And she's like, now I'm tasting a little silk, a little something warm, something that should be moist, but it's not. And now my throat hurts.
I want to know what it is that should be moist but isn't.
Well, it's her old blood, dried up everywhere that they cleaned, but she can still smell the blood,
Okay.
right? That's what I think.
I was just thinking about your sperm.
What do you think he was doing while he was just staring at her?
I don't know, but if it's always at an upward position, then there's always a little bit of... I'm deleting everything I just said. But also, I just had a thought.
Okay.
If she's inhaling all of this dust, which Edward never told us about an inhale of dust, so I don't know. But is she going to have to cough it all out later? Because it's not going to absorb into her body like it does for us. She's not going to get a virus. She's not going to get a dust clog in her throat. She just has to hack it up. We have to hack up dust now, too.
Well, because I think it depends on what you do with it once it enters your mouth, or it depends on how it enters the body, right? Like if you sniff it goes to your lungs.
Yeah.
And then you got to cough it out, and it just kind of... you just kind of let it sit in there until it gets kind of uncomfortable.
When you have a
And
bunch
you're
of
like,
it.
I think I have too much dust in me, and you gotta go dust it out, and then it goes poofs. But if you're like, well, and you're like, yummy, swallow.
Yeah.
Then you gotta.
You have to hack it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
How long does it taste for a how long does it taste? How long does it take for a vampire to become too full of dust that it's a problem?
They just really like it. How much can they have?
You can fit a lot of dust in a lung, I think.
This is one of my favorite things we've ever talked about.
The Romanians were just sitting there for a long time.
Were
They
they
got
breathing?
so full of dust.
They are dust.
Mm-hmm. They inhaled so much dust that they started to become dust.
Oh my gosh.
They
Okay.
became one with the dust.
Okay, cool.
Anyway.
I love it.
We're one page in.
Barely. Not even. Well, yeah, okay, one.
Okay. So then Bella starts to sniff more things, and she's like, there's this honey, almond, lilac, sun smell happening.
What is it?
Real strong.
Did somebody
And
put
real
flowers
close.
on her bedside?
That is the smell of Edward Cullen himself.
He is a almost honey, lilac, and sun flavored scent.
Uh-huh. Wow. Make that a candle. And she can hear everyone else in the room, and they're all breathing now that she's breathing. And she can now smell their breath in the air too. which the kind of honey lilac sunshine is obviously Edward's breathing, but she also smells cinnamon, hyacinth, pear, seawater, rising bread, pine, vanilla, leather, apple, moss, lavender, and chocolate. At least those are the closest comparisons that she can come up to, but it's still not quite right.
I'm just really sad that she didn't say toothpaste and grass.
True. Who do all these go with? Should we do that in a bonus episode?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so if you are not one of our patrons, but you want to know who each of these scents belongs to, we're going to do a bonus episode after this, and you got to join us for that, because I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a convo.
Nicely, whoever was downstairs muted the television, and she's like, probably it's Rosalie, I guess. And then she can also hear a heart, and nope, she can hear like this rhythm and an angry voice, and she's like, is that rap music? It kind of sounds like if someone was listening to rap with their window down while they were like driving by, and then she was like, wait a second, we can hear to the freeway? Cool. And then she's like, oh, someone is holding my hand. And she doesn't realize it until they squeeze her. And she's like, why is that smooth and not cold? And this is scary for Bella.
Listen to what this cat does next.
She is a kitten. She's 100% a kitten.
I've never heard anything that was more of a cat description than this.
It's this. Because it's startling. She hisses. And also she twists and flips away so fast. But not so fast that she can't still admire the dust as she goes by.
I love her so much. I saw every dust mote, every splinter in the wood paneled walls, every loose thread in microscopic detail as my eyes whirled past them.
Maybe this says something about me, but if I were a vampire, I'd be going and like sanding all those wood splinterings and trimming all those loose threads. I feel like I would become obsessed with like perfecting things that no one else cared about.
Maybe after the centuries you'd get tired of it.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe Esme's first 10 years, she was just sanding and snipping.
I did think of an Esme when you were saying that.
Anyway, now Bella's across the room, crouched down, and then she's embarrassed because she realized she overreacted. It was just Edward, and of course he's not cold anymore because they're the same temperature.
Sometimes we overreact when we're a cat. Yesterday, Willow was on a bottom shelf of a dollhouse in my little kid's room, and I was in there, and I literally took something off of an upper shelf, and Willow did exactly that thing that Bella just explained.
A hiss, flip,
a hiss.
Crouch.
She flipped, she ran out of the room, and then crouched against the wall.
And then was embarrassed because she was like, oh, that she was not trying to kill
and
me.
Then she licked her paw and walked away.
Everyone else in the room is just like, don't move, don't look, don't blink. Bella's very anxious right now. Finally, she looks at Edward, though.
This has all been 1/16 of a second.
Yes. He's still there reaching out towards her, and she says that mostly she's focused on Edward, but also she is assessing the situation to make sure there are no threats. No signs of danger. She takes in that the rest of the family is still standing by the door, and that Emmett and Jasper are in front of them. And she's like, okay, so there is danger. So she gives the room a good sniff, but nothing smells weird.
She flares her new vampire nostrils to do the sniff.
And she still smells something that she calls delicious.
Stop it. It's Jacob, stop.
No, it's that dried blood.
It's the dried blood. It's her own dried blood.
Yeah. She's like, I did smell good.
Oh my gosh.
And while she's looking at the family, she sees Alice peek around Jasper, smiling at her, her teeth giving off that 8th color of the rainbow. And she's like, oh, Alice is happy. Okay, so Jasper and Emmett are protecting the others, but It's from me. I'm the danger. But she's still looking at Edward's face mostly because she had never actually seen his face before.
Who is that? Oh.
She goes, all my many hours and days and weeks of my life that I was staring at Edward's face and I thought it was perfect. I was stupid and I didn't know anything. And as far as I knew, I was looking at the wall because this face
I'm sobbing.
is the best face.
Literally, when I read this morning, I was like, that's the sweetest thing I've ever read. Oh.
It's cute as heck.
Oh my gosh.
She goes, for the first time, with the dimming shadows and limiting weakness of humanity taken off my eyes, I saw his face. I gasped and then struggled with my vocabulary, unable to find the right words. I needed better words.
Oh. I mean, here's the thing. Of course he's beautiful, but nobody else sees him that way. I can't. It's so sweet. It's like molasses.
The rest of Bella's head is like, oh, there's no danger here. So she stops crouching, and it's now been nearly a whole second.
Since she was on the table.
Since her flip. Her flip out.
1 second is this long. 1. That's it. And all of that happened in that one time.
Mhm.
That's so cute. If that's not the funniest thing you've ever heard.
Get ready for this.
Okay.
So then Bella is like, I think I want to stand up. And then she's like, I'm already standing up. I just think it, and then it is happening. And there's no time where I am moving or deciding to move. I just think it, and it's become.
That's so awkward, though. I would be so embarrassed if my body did that. I can barely move fast in front of anyone for any reason. Imagine walking fast.
No.
I can't.
She keeps staring at Edward, and he is now moving around the table towards her, and he's taking a whole half a second per step.
It's taking forever, though.
Mm-hmm. Think of how many things Bella can think about while he walks over towards her. She watches him come over, and he's like, Bella? And then she's like, what a beautiful voice. A voice that I thought I've been hearing forever. I never heard it yet.
A symphony in one instrument.
Yes. And he's like, Bella, I know this is really disorienting, but everything is fine. And then Bella's like, everything? Everything is fine? What about this? What about that? What about everything? Does he mean everything, or does he just mean everything casual? Where's Renesmee? Where's Rosalie? Where's Jacob? What's he doing? What about Charlie? What about Sam's pack? What about Seth and Leah? What about my mom? What about... She doesn't think about her mom. What about Charlie, mostly?
There's so many everythings.
And so now she has many questions to ask, but then Edward comes over and he touches some fingertips to her cheek.
This is... I was embarrassed before, and now this is just... I have to leave the room embarrassing.
He literally does this to her. And boy, oh boy, does that feel like something.
The reaction of like 3 fingers scraped along a cheekbone.
His touch seemed to slip
No, you're going to read
the surface of my skin, right through the bones of my face.
I can't. The feeling was tingly, electric. It jolted through my bones, down my spine, and trembled in my stomach. I've had that feeling before. I know what she's talking about.
If you thought human Bella was horny, you have not met vampire Bella. What gets touched with some fingertips on her cheek and is suddenly like, all right.
I mean, like, literally, there's no more Renesmee. There's no more Charlie. There's no more thirst. There's no more dust.
No more whole families standing 6 feet away from you.
It's all sex right now.
Mm-hmm.
Get on me, get in me.
She goes, I wasn't supposed to be able to feel this yet. Those were supposed to come later. We already agreed on this. But then Edward simply touches more of his fingers to her cheek. And now she is singing from her scalp to her toes.
Oh, stop it, Bella. Desire raced through my dried out veins. This is nasty.
And then because Bella has thought it is now happening. She is wrapped entirely around Edward.
Yes.
She's sniffing him in way too hard.
She's a girl after my own heart.
Face right into chest, deep inhale.
Mm-hmm.
She's gone 0 to 100 real fast. And then Edward's like, ow, Bella. And she stands up and gets off him and she's like, oh, sorry. And then she goes, he smiled the kind of smile that would have stopped my heart if it were still beating. Oh. He goes, don't panic. You're just a bit stronger than I am for a moment. And she's like, oh, I made Edward say, ow. And then, of course, he touches her cheek again, and we go right back all through it.
She wants to see what else she can make him say. What?
She goes, these emotions were so much stronger than what I was used to. It was hard to stick to one train of thought. Each new sensation overwhelmed me.
Oh, no. Right here in front of everybody, Esme is there. Stop it.
Carlisle and Esme are just like... And then it's like...
Yeah, bro.
Nodding. Nice. She remembers Edward saying how easily distracted vampires could be, and now she understands. And she's like, okay, I have to focus because of my questions. So she's like, but first I'll just touch his cheek also.
Oh no, stop it. She cannot stop. She is out of control.
Oh, it's so funny.
Listen to this. I brought my right arm out from behind my back. Why was it behind her back? I don't know. And raised my hand to touch his cheek. I refused to let myself be sidetracked. Be sidetracked, Bella. There are people there. By the pearly color of my hand, or by the smooth silk of his skin, or by the charge that zinged into my fingertips. Be distracted. Okay?
This is number one priority on her list, though. And she says out loud to Edward for the first time, I love you.
First thing she says is a vampire. I'm gonna cry. I love it. It's so wholesome. It's so perfect. It's so sweet.
Mm-hmm. And of course she's like, wow, my voice is beautiful.
and Edward is like, oh my gosh, her voice is so beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And he goes, as I love you.
Oh, shut up. I cannot handle this.
And then luckily he idiot sandwiches her. And he leans in for a kiss.
Guys.
And Bella's like, oh, a kiss, all right.
Right here in front of Emmett?
She goes, I tried to remember to be gentle with him. It was really hard to remember anything, and it was hard to hold on to any coherent thoughts.
Good Lord.
It was like he'd never kissed me. Like this was our first kiss, and truly, he had never kissed me this way before. And then she's like, how am I allowed to feel like this right now? And then her heart, she starts breathing heavily. Her heart is pounding.
That's a habit, too.
There's a different kind of fire. And then...
a different kind of fire.
And then Emmett's like...
If you're making Emmett uncomfortable, you are going too far, sister. He's the king of uncomfortable.
Yes. And Bella's like, oh, maybe the way I'm curved around Edward was not exactly polite for company.
Curved around Edward. Curved around. That is not appropriate for this church dance, young lady.
Leave room for Jesus. So Bella steps away. Edward thinks it's funny and he won't let her go. He steps with her and she's like, this kissing is way better than the old boring kissing. And she's like, you've been holding out on me. And he laughs and he's like, well, yes, it was necessary, but now you have to be gentle with me. And she's like, okay.
No, Emily. He says, now it's your turn to not break me.
To not break me.
Don't break me, Bella.
This makes Bella be a frown, and then everyone else is laughing at her, including Carlisle.
Who it looks like the sun.
Yeah.
He's so beautiful.
Who knew? She's like, all these people look different but the same. It's very weird. Carlisle then is like, how do you feel, Bella? And she's like, overwhelmed. There's so much. And Carlisle's like, yeah, I get it. And she's like, but I kind of feel like me and I didn't expect to, so that's weird. And Edward's like, I told you. And then Carlisle's like, you were quite controlled more than I expected, even though you had time to prepare. And she's like, I don't know about that. Have you seen me?
I've been bobbing. Controlled. I've bobbed up and down 4 times in the past 4 seconds.
And then he's like, I think we did something right with the morphine. What do you remember of your transformation process?
He's going to jump right into this important conversation.
And she's like, well, listen, it was all very dark. The baby couldn't breathe. And then Edward's like, Renesmee is healthy and she's just fine. And then she's like, he said her name the way devout people talked about their gods.
No, he's worshiping his little baby girl.
She's the miracle baby.
I love that.
So then he's like, what do you remember after that? And then Bella's like, I don't know. Everything was dark. And then I opened my eyes and now I can see everything. And have you guys tasted this dust?
Nothing. I don't remember anything. What?
Carlisle's like, cool, love that.
Oh
and then Bella's like, oh no, they're gonna know I'm lying because I'm blushing. And then she's like, no, I'm never gonna blush again. But I will tell Carlisle later, just in case. Let him know. Bad idea, probably.
Yeah, dudes.
Carlisle does want the full step-by-step process. And Bella's like, oh no, I don't want to. But then Carlisle's like, oh wait, you have to drink first. You must be very uncomfortable. And she was like, well, I wasn't actually, another part of my brain was thinking about that for a while, but now that you mentioned it, that's my main thought.
I wasn't thirsty, thanks.
I feel like a good way to think about vampires versus humans is, in Inside Out, we have like 5 people in our brain, but for Bella, she has like 100 people.
And they're all like really good at their jobs.
Yeah.
Unlike the guys in Inside Out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But only one of them gets to like stand on the podium at a time. So she has to like switch gears,
Yeah. I like that.
So now her thirst person is like running the show and she's like, crap, yeah, I do want to kill everything and drink it all. But yeah, it's so much that she like touches her throat and she's like, oh yeah, this sucks. So Edward's like, okay, let's go hunt. And she's like, what do you mean hunt? And he's like, it's fine. You're gonna be perfect. It's instinctual. And Bella just stands there some more. And so he's like, I thought you wanted to see me hunt.
I'm like her. Like, no, can you give me a lesson first? I needed to learn by watching somebody do it first.
Also, I don't want anyone to see me do something for the first time ever.
No,
anything
never.
At all.
It's so awkward.
Especially kill something. Oh.
Yeah, especially
Leave
something
me.
so awkward. Am I supposed to slice the jugular?
Do you
What?
break it first? Do you bite it first? Is there like a hug involved? Do you not touch it?
Do you gulp while hugging? I don't want to do it.
A lay down kind of? Do you stand up?
We lay down. Do I put it up
Do it
in a
against
tree?
the tree?
Just open my mouth?
Mm-hmm.
It's confusing.
It's hard to know. Do I bring a straw? I don't know. She laughs again and she's like, wow, my laugh is so beautiful. But then she remembers about the conversation that she first had with Edward when he was like, you are not allowed to watch me hunt. And then Bella comes up with a new priority, which is to remember every single thing that she wants to remember about her human life before it becomes too hard to remember and she forgets forever.
Okay.
And so she's like, gotta remember all the Edward parts at least.
I love this, and I think it's so smart. And she mentions how she learned that from Rosalie, because she goes, I knew from Rosalie's experience that if I thought of my human memories enough, I would not lose them over time. Is she talking about how Rosalie just never forgot about that, like, last year before she died, because she was kind of obsessing about it because she wanted to kill those guys so bad? Or was there something else that I missed that Rosalie wanted to remember real bad? Like, did she want to remember being a human? I can't wrap my mind around this. Like, what was it that Rosalie was trying to remember?
Well, Rosalie desperately wanted vengeance, and so she didn't want to forget all the men that
All right. Okay,
abused
so that's
her,
what she's
so she
talking
could
about.
go back and
So she just
kill
kept
them.
that in her mind. But it seems like she also has like a very strong memory of like that last year before she died.
Yeah, so I feel like it's kind of all, and that, I mean, she hated Carlisle and Edward, so
Yeah.
it's not like she wanted to talk to them, so she was just
She
there
just kept
thinking.
obsessing about when she was a human and how happy she was.
Because she also like vividly remembers like the baby boy that her
Mhm.
friend had. So I think it is just kind of like she's mad that she's a vampire, and so she's thinking about all the things that she misses and all of the things she needs to take care of.
I feel bad for her.
Yeah.
Really bad.
Mhm.
That's so sad.
And now she can never forget because she
Yeah.
like, held on so much.
She obsessed about it forever.
Yeah.
Ugh, sad.
So then Edward's like, let's go. And he grabs her hand off her throat and he's like, I don't want you to be hurting. And she's like, it's fine, hold on.
Wait, I said this before before we were recording, but I think it's so funny and so Bella that she just out of habit says, I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
Like she's like, I'm fine. I said out of lingering human habit.
Food, no thanks. I got better things to do. So Carlisle's like, what? And she's like, I want to see Renesmee.
Oh my gosh, hold on a sec. Now I'm obsessing about this thought. Do you think that she also has the same habit that she had when she was a human and like only eats like one squirrel when she remembers that she has to eat?
It's like everyone else is planning a whole weekend to go hunt. And she's like, oh, I'll eat one of the chickens.
Yeah,
I'll stay here. I'm fine.
So funny. So Bella.
I do wonder. That's funny. So Bella's in an interesting place where it's like Renesmee was everything she thought that was like her whole day, all day, every day for like a whole month before she got turned. And then she went through this like painful 2 days. And it was only 2 days, but even now, like Renesmee doesn't feel real to her. Because she's like, all the things I remember of like the birth were like really, I wasn't there.
Yeah, I've actually heard about this from people who have had traumatic births where they've had to be put under or they have passed out for one reason or another. And then they wake up like however long after and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm not pregnant anymore. Do I even have a baby? Like it's the most disorienting thing. I know that my mom went through it when she actually lost a baby. And when I learned about that, about my mom, my entire view of her changed forever. Because I was like, that must have been the most traumatizing thing ever to wake up and knew that you had a baby, but you haven't seen it.
Mhm.
And then she never got to see hers because he had died and it was like back in the 60s. But oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
poor
Well,
Bella.
and like Bella has it like even more so because her body doesn't show any signs of pregnancy
Oh
whatsoever.
my gosh, yeah.
She's like flat as a board.
Ugh.
And so she's like, this is all very weird. There's nothing in me. I barely remember, she calls it the bloody removal scene.
What a Bella thing to say.
And so she's like, like, she doesn't know what was real, what she imagined, or anything. And so then she sees like Edward and Carlisle look at each other and she's like, what? And Edward's like, Bella, that's not a good idea because she's half human. Until we know that you cannot kill her, it is not safe for her for you to see her.
I cannot get over bloody removal scene. Why can she not say the birth, the C-section? Was it too traumatic?
Yeah. She's like, I had nothing to do with that.
That was not a
a
birth.
bloody removal scene.
Incredible. Incredible.
So Bella's like, okay, well, I don't want to hurt her, but am I out of control? Like, I know I'm confused and easily distracted, but would I be dangerous to her? And Bella's like, I don't know for sure. So I guess this is what we're doing. She asks where she is, and she listens throughout the house, and she can hear a heartbeat on the floor below. She can hear one person breathing, and she also hears this fluttering sound. And then she thinks about that heartbeat for like a little bit too long, and she starts to drool, and she's like, okay, I guess my baby has to remain my stranger baby for who knows how long.
Ugh, interesting. Rough.
Mm-hmm.
Super rough.
So she's like, is Rosalie with her? Edward says yes. And she goes, I could see that something he thought of upset him.
Yeah.
But
me too.
Yeah, before she can ask him, he grabs her hands again and like tugs her to go. And she's like, hold on, what about Jacob and Charlie? Like, what did I miss and how long was I unconscious for? And Edward again glances at Carlisle and she's like, what is wrong? And Carlisle's like, well, nothing's wrong. Nothing really changed. You were only unaware for just over 2 days. It was very fast. Edward did an excellent job. Really good idea of putting his venom straight into your heart.
Edward gets an honorary PhD just for that.
Carlisle's like, I'm going to try that sometime. That sounds cool.
Don't.
He tells her that Jacob is here, and Charlie still believes that she is sick, and he thinks that she is getting tests done at the CDC, but they gave him a bad number, so instead he's been calling Esme, and he's very frustrated with them.
Every time Esme answers the phone, yes, hello, this is the CDC. Is that what's happening?
No, I think
Am I
he's
reading
like,
this
Esme,
correctly?
Carlisle gave me a bad number, and I don't know what to do. And she's like, I'm so sorry.
No, let me find you another one. But I just think it's really funny to imagine her in on this scheme and being like, yes, this is Susan at the CDC. Can I help you, sir? You have to stop calling. Your daughter is still having tests.
Cool. She just has like 5 different phones with different numbers. And
Yeah.
just random. She just changes her voice every time.
Yep.
Then Bella's like, oh, I should call him. But then she's like, I cannot call him because my voice is Belle's now and not Bella's.
No.
And then she's like, wait a second, why is Jacob still here? Everyone nervously glances at each other again. And Edward's like, Bella, like, there's a lot to talk about, but we need to take care of you first. You must be in pain. And then she's like, oh, yeah, but Jacob. And he's like, listen, we have forever to talk about this. And she's like, oh, okay. Sounds good. No big deal.
I wish I felt that way. I wish that it was like, don't worry, we have forever. I just see impending doom at every corner.
But before they leave, Alice is like, no, hold on just a second. And then Bella looks at Alice and she's like, wow, she's so cute. Even cuter than I remembered.
Alice's priorities are on point right now, though.
She's like, you said I could be there for the first time. What if you run past some water? And Edward's like, please, Alice. And she's like, nope, hold on. She runs away. Bella's like, what is happening? But then she's already back and she has the big mirror from Rosalie's room.
She's got that anthropology mirror with the gold around it.
It's so pretty. And then she also notices Jasper because he moves over to stand by Alice and he is just staring at her. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm dangerous. She goes, I knew he would be tasting the mood around me too, so he must have felt my jolt of shock as I studied his face, looking at it closely for the first time. And she, of course, is referring to his scars.
He's real scary.
She's like, the first time I saw his scars, like, I could barely tell that they were there. But now that I can actually see things, Jasper's scars were the most dominant feature on him. And she looks at his neck and his jaw, and she's like, how many thousands of vampires must have bit him
Damn,
to
you know
look
what?
like that?
Nobody told me that this book was so metal. It's like, that's awesome.
In fact, Jasper looks so scary that Bella's about to fight him just by looking at him, as any vampire would, she says.
And he smiles. I love it.
Yep. Yeah, he just smiles at her, and then Alice is like, hold on, Edward said that, or like, Edward got mad at me because I didn't make you look in a mirror before your wedding, and so we're doing this now so I don't get in trouble. And she's like, just humor me. And so Bella finally looks at herself in the reflection, and she's like, I am beautiful. I'm an alien of beauty.
Who is that? Oh my goodness.
I'm as beautiful as Alice or Esme, but not as beautiful as Rosalie. She doesn't say that, but that's what she's thinking.
Absolutely.
She talks about how flawless her face is and how pale she looks and how dark and beautiful her hair is and how she looks fluid even though she's standing still, and how smooth and strong and luminous she looks. And then she's like, who the hell is that?
I do love that she acknowledges how strong she looks. She's always thought of herself as so weak and clumsy, and she sees this person and she's like, she is strong. Look at those arms. My gosh. And then the fear, but I like that acknowledgement because that'll stick. That's a core memory now.
Yes. So she then has a freak out moment because the person that she's looking at, she doesn't see herself in at all. And her eyes are too bright and too red, and her face is perfectly composed.
That's not me. That could never be me.
Yeah. She asks about the eyes, and Edward says it'll be like that for a few months and even longer until they go completely gold. And she's like, I'm gonna look like this for months. And she's freaking out. And so Jasper comes over and he's like, oh no. And she's like, am I giving off like an alarm? Like, do most newborns feel this like anxiety before they do something scary? And so she looks over at Edward and she looks at Alice, and they're obviously like listening to Jasper and like looking into the future to make sure nothing crazy happens. And so Bella just takes a deep breath and she's like, I got it. It's just a lot to take in. And Jasper is like, what the heck? And Edward's like, I don't know. And Bella's like, what is happening?
You're weird still.
Uh-huh.
Even after, you're still a weirdo, Bella.
So Edward's like, Jasper's like really weirded out by you. He wonders how you're doing this. And she's like, doing what? And he says, controlling your emotions. And then Jasper comes over and he's like, I've never seen a newborn do that ever. You were upset, but when you saw our concern, you stopped. And I was prepared to help, but I didn't need to. And Bella's like, am I vampiring wrong? And he's like, no. Edward comes over and he's like, it's very impressive, but we don't know what's happening and we don't know how long it might last. And so she's like, oh no, at any moment I'll turn into a monster. And she's like, I don't know how I would anticipate it. But then Alice is like, stop it. What do you think of yourself?
Look how pretty.
And Bella's like, well, I don't know. And so she stares at herself harder and she's like, hold on. The lips are kind of the same because the top one is still a little smaller than the bottom one. It's like still a little lopsidey. So that's nice. That's still me. And she's like, maybe the more I look at myself, the more I'll find myself in my appearance. So then Bella does a thing where she like lifts her hand to make sure it's her in the mirror and they're not like pulling a trick on her. And then Edward sighs.
I want a Edward side or Edward sighs count.
Many.
So many. I even wrote a hand lettering of it. And I think it was one of our like titles of our episodes.
Probably.
Like just Edward sighed.
Yeah.
Edward sighs.
Bella asks him if he is disappointed, and he says yes. And then she's like,
but I'm beautiful.
No. Even the vampireness could not make me beautiful enough for him. And then Jasper is like waiting for Bella to freak out. But Edward knows Bella, and he knows that what she is thinking. And so he comes over and he hugs her and he puts his lips on her cheek. And he goes, I was hoping I might be able to hear your mind now that it's more similar to my own, but here I am, frustrated as ever, wondering what could possibly be going on inside your head. I felt better at once.
Aww, it's to have her not be self-conscious anymore makes me so happy.
Mm-hmm. She's like, well, I guess my brain's never going to work right. At least I'm pretty.
What is it the Buffy says?
I may be dead,
I
but
may
I'm
be
still
dead, but
pretty.
I'm still pretty. Really good.
Then Edward's like, Bella, you've never been merely pretty. And finally Jasper's like, Edward, please take her to go eat something. And Edward's like, okay, let's go. You're making Jasper too edgy. And she looks at Jasper and he's just like freaking out. And she's like, okay, if I'm gonna like snap, it may as well be like trees and not family members, so let's go. So she grabs him by the hand and they turn away from the new Bella in the mirror.
Yay, Bella! I'm so glad you're here, Loca. I love her. Yeah, I feel I don't want to overstate this because I say it all the time and I've been saying it from the beginning, but this is what I've been waiting for. This is my girl. I just love her. I love her so much. She's amazing. Amazing. Oh no, what's happening here? Nursing baby girl, haven't shared anything yet. Phoebe Camille, which I just love. 7 pounds, 15 ounces, and 18.5 inches. That's great. Hi, Caitlin. And then how are you? Good. Getting used to baby girl's routine and recovering from the C-section. How are you? C-section recovery can be so tough. I hope you're resting, but enjoying your baby girl. Doing well, working a lot, and almost have enough to finally buy a house. Yay. So hopefully before September, I'll have a house here in Utah is her goal. What? Just kidding. Congratulations. Buying a house is tough. I think we got super lucky when we bought our house last April. We started looking in January and it was estate sale. Nice estate. That's super lucky. I've been looking, but not fully hunting. LOL. I want my savings to be a little higher. That's one of the best chapters. Yeah, it is. I'm already enough. You guys reading Vampire Bella. Wait, what? Vampire Bella is my favorite version of Bella. Yeah, she's the best. I can't afford anything in Utah. I know it's crazy here. It's so dumb here. We bought our house like probably 7 or 8 months before the pandemic really hit. We were so lucky. If we had waited, no way we'd still be renting right now. Ridiculous. Yep. Okay, guys.
We gotta finish the episode though.
Okay. I I'm just like feeling very overwhelmed because I love this Bella. I love this version of Bella so much. And then Edward just like, he's already laughing at her and like feeling comfortable. I can't imagine what's going on inside of his head, but I can feel immediately in this chapter that he has taken a breath. Seeing her wake up and seeing her be there is just like, oh, thank God.
Like the only worry for Edward now is Number one, don't tell Bella that Jacob imprinted on her daughter yet. That has to wait for later, and like Bella will just deal with that. But the only thing like really that he has to worry about is like not startling Bella too much so she doesn't like take out a wall. But
Yeah.
even then, like that's a minor
Yeah.
inconvenience for them. So
Yeah.
it's like
incredible. After all of this time, so it's like been it's been like a year and a half since they met, which is so fast, and they're so young, but they were meant to be together. In that time, they've been together, broken up, been on trips, gotten married, had a baby, and now finally Edward can just relax. He literally hasn't relaxed since the moment he met Bella. So I'm just really glad about this. Really glad.
it's good for everyone's mental health that Bella is a vampire now.
It truly is.
Except for Jasper's, apparently.
He's just worried. He doesn't know. He's never seen a vampire newborn be this way.
Mhm.
So good job, Bella.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Cool.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody. We are grateful to have you with us. And as always, we just love you and you're amazing. So, anything else?
I'm trying to think of a remember.
Oh, let's see. Okay, I have one.
Okay.
All right. Well, and we will see you next time. Please join us then. And until then, remember, do not make out with your husband in front of your entire family.
We're off to go and record our Patreon only bonus episode where we talk about the scents of the Cullens. So if you'd like to listen along with that, go sign up on our Patreon page. It's linked in the show notes.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
I brought you this.
Oh, hi.
Oh, you got your girl a Cassie.
Think I'm on last week.
You've been here for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, she came in when we were talking about. I don't remember,
When Alice came in or something.
You know, with the mirror.
but it was like we were like in the middle of a conversation. I waved at her, but
Oh.
we were talking.
I
I've
didn't
been here
notice.
this whole time.
All right, everybody's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Love you guys. And we'll be back in a little while with Harry Potter.
Caitlin says hi.
Hi.
She says hi. Okay, bye.